this is Michelle. I want to thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel Inspire today for Table Talk Tuesday. Um, this new little feature I'm doing on my channel is to maybe introduce people to things that maybe they're curious about in the creative world, or things that they'd like to see how they work, or um, just generally giving ideas and inspiration for you to use or to further share. And I would love for you to share this video to others. But today I'm just going to go over a little bit about types of embellishments, more over 3D embellishments. Embellishments can be anything from jewelry pieces, buttons, lace doilies, ribbon. Yeah, you can use metallic embellishments, metal pieces, junk pieces. There's just a whole variety out there that can be used to dress up your project, just depending on what your project is and what look you're going for. I prefer, like I said, the 3D-ish kind of style of embellishments because they bring a point of interest that you may not be getting from other portions of your creative project. So today I just briefly wanted to touch bases on using polymer clay with molds and the types of molds that can be found or can be made. I had purchased, this all started when I purchased the Mod Podge melts, and this is a great product, don't get me wrong. But for me personally, I was not a fan of the finish, it seemed to me like sometimes some of the details got lost with this product. Whereas when I use my clay, I get more refined elements from the molds, as you can see with this frame here. You've got a lot of detail, and the polymer clay actually picks up every nook and cranny and detail of that frame. Now, the other nice thing I like about the polymer clay is its weight. It's very lightweight. I mean, it's lighter than a piece of paper, to be honest. And you can paint and do all kinds of different finishes on them. You see, I've kind of got that one painted a little gray. And if you mess it up, you break it, oh well. It's not anything lost, especially when you're making your own embellishments. You can make more. But yeah, these were primarily for the mod melts, and I now use them for my polymer clay embellishments when I make them. Now these here, excuse me, were made specifically for polymer clay. They're a little more shallow, and as you see with these, I have a couple of the feathers here, and you can see, like I said, once again, every little detail. And I absolutely love it for that reason, because you can get as detailed as you want with the painting when you're finishing these up. I also have a couple of the crosses that are on this one, on the next one, that you can see how detailed that cross is for this one here. So those are just some of the reasons why I like working with polymer clay. I also don't limit my mold shopping to just the crafting section. I once was a baker, and I want to stress this right now. If you purchase your molds in the baking section of your favorite craft store or whatever, and you use your molds for clay or resin or anything else, they cannot be used for food consumption. So once you've used them for clay, they're for clay, or for whatever medium you're using your molds with. But these two here just happened to be a couple that I had got for a few years ago for my sister-in-law's anniversary, and once I was done using them for the cake, I then thought, well, I'm not going to be making the cake again, so I retired making cakes. Too much work. But I kept them, and now I use them for my crafting, which I love, because you get a whole different variety of design when you're shopping in the baking aisle. Like for instance, that's one of the, there you go, one of the flourish designs here. And again, using the clay width. Very lightweight, easy to paint, or put finish on. And I also have available in my arsenal of molds some that I made, handmade. This was I think it's a baking soda, or is it baking powder? I'll have to look it up, but it's one or the other, in silicone and water method. This one's pretty hard. This one's a little softer, which makes this one more pliable to remove the mold from. When I use these with clay, I very gently, after letting it sit for a few minutes, remove the image from, or the clay piece from the mold, and then I do the baking process. I do not bake using these molds. And what I used for these particular molds was the blanks for Sandra Everston's relics and artifacts that she came out with a few years ago. I saved the originals because I love these so much, and there's such versatility in using these faces that I wanted to use them again. And well, as with many things sell out or don't go back into reproduction. Once they're gone, they're gone. So I wanted to make sure that I had some of these on hand. So that's for the reason why I made these little molds. And I do not make these to sell. These I make primarily for my personal projects. That's it. I may gift some here and there to somebody, but I do not, I want to stress this, I do not reproduce these and sell these for profit. I also have something that I did last year for the first time, which was just so much fun. While shopping at our community garage sale, I came across a vintage retro 80s little mime kind of pen, fashion pen. I removed the back from it, but I kept the face pretty much intact, and I used it to make a push mold, which is around here somewhere. It's in my mold drawer. I just didn't pull that one out in particular. But what I got was a good variety of little faces to use that I could paint. I could mimic the painting on there, eye open, winking, the other one closed, whatever. And I have actually finished a canvas project. Let me grab that just real quick so you can see what I did with the faces after I made them. Sorry about that. I should have had this ready. But this was the object that I made using those faces. And I decided to do like a monotone coloring. This project was actually inspired by Cheryl Boglioli, something I seen her do on the program Make It Artsy. So I like the way that turned out. Something mixed media-ish, and I have, as you see, the metallic embellishments. I have brads, I've got flowers, so I've got the whole basket there, I guess you'd say, of embellishment styles all on one canvas. And then from there, I did want to share that I have used modeling clay, and I have also used air dry paper clay, especially on this project here. I did some flat roses in those, and I've already used them in projects, or sold them or gave them as gifts, whatever. I don't have any of those on hand right now. The other new thing that my husband and I, a venture that we invested in together, was a 3D printer. And I'm loving this because you can just about pick out any style or do something scaled if you wish. We actually were lucky enough to find our 3D printer through Facebook Marketplace, and we got it for a really great deal. It's not as expensive. The materials aren't as expensive as one might think. I mean, I personally thought they were much more expensive than they actually are. But we printed these out over the weekend, and it's a very hard plastic, but as you see the detail in it, I went with some steampunk kind of things that I thought would be fun to work with, and I used regular spray paint on this. I used a hammered copper to get that finish. And I mean, the back side of it, I used some of my husband's RC remote control car paint that he had. And as pretty as this copper is, it was a little more metallic and bold than I wanted, because when Steenbeck, you kind of want to dye it down a little bit. So that's what I did with the hammered copper. So once it's dried and everything, once it has dried, I will be going through, and there's some little barbs here and there I've got to finish trimming off, and I will be using either an antiquing medium that I have here on hand by Artsy, or some plaid metallics. I've got their new brushed metal. I've got some pewter, and I have some copper that I'm going to be using just to draw out more dimension on each of these for a future project that I'm working on. So I think that's about it. If you have any questions regarding how I, work with the clay, and the baking instructions, or other types of clay that can be used with the molds, or the process on how to use the molds, yeah, you can shoot me a question down below in the comments. If you are not already a subscriber to my channel, I would love for you to join. I love sharing and just generally giving of myself to hopefully bring some joy to people, or to teach something new. So if you would, I'd like for you to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell while you're at it, so you can stay up to date on what's new and what's going on. And again, thank you for joining me for Table Talk Tuesday. And until the next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.